Kaylee and Lexi had known each other since they were kids. They were best friends who did everything together. But they both had their eyes set on the same thing. Kaylee did not know that this forbidden love triangle was going on. Little did she know when she tied the knot, she was poisoned by a not-so-happy ending. On April 18, 2015, police were notified of a dead body located within a local neighborhood. They found Kaylee lying face down on the ground with no signs of blood or injury.
She was my twin. She was my best friend. I can't believe she's gone.
They had no motives for the crime, nor did they have any direct suspects. But the autopsy report would prove to shock investigators and shift the focus to her closest friends and family.
I was rather confused when I found out they were bringing me in for this interview.
Kaylee's friend, whose name still remains unknown, was the first suspect brought in for questioning because of their suspicious mannerisms.
No one had even told me that Kaylee had passed away. I had just saw her at our superhero meeting last weekend.
Her death has come to a surprise to everyone, including me, because we were just so close to each other. She was like the Robin to my Batman, you know? I don't know.
Investigators soon realized the suspect would be of no help and immediately turned to someone with a much more intimate relationship with Kaylee, her newly wedded husband Ryan.
Yeah, whatever. He never came around much. It was really odd. I don't know. There's just always something off about him, you know?
Before the murder, many people had seen Ryan coming to and from Lexi's house. Kaylee remained unaware of this love affair for quite some time until she returned home from work one night to spot Lexi sneaking out the front door of the house. The night of the murder, Kaylee and Ryan got into a heated debate about this new love triangle Ryan had placed himself into. Though arguing was not anything out of the ordinary for the 2-month newlywed couple, this altercation still gave Ryan a motive to want to kill his wife. This now made him the primary suspect.
It's our song.
No, I never felt like this before.
Whoa, wait.
Yes, I swear it's a truth. And I
Good.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
There are thousands of ways into the complex healthcare system.
I'm right.
And United Healthcare has ways to make the system simpler, like virtual doctor visits.
What happened here?
I came in too hot.
Interested in learning more about what happened within Kaylee's house the days prior to the murder, investigators stepped inside and uncovered some serious evidence.
We saw a mug on the counter, and we tested the contents of the mug, and we saw that there was tea in it and a little bit of sugar. So we immediately tested the tea bag for prints, we tested the mug for prints, and we tested the sugar for prints. But after we looked deeper into Kaylee's husband's life, we figured out who the main suspect was from that point.
After discovering that Ryan's alibi did not match up to the story he had been telling, not only did this make investigators even more suspicious of Lexi, but they also decided to ask some other people who were in the area around the time Kaylee's body was discovered.
What did you see last night?
Well, I was in my kitchen and I saw around 6 foot tall male, had a masculine build, dark sweatpants, I think he was wearing a long sleeve darker shirt, and he seemed to be breaking into my neighbor's house.
What, could you see his face?
Kind of, there was some facial hair, but couldn't really tell.
Alright, Logan, could you tell me what you witnessed on the night of April 18th?
Whenever I was outside, I didn't see anything really suspicious going on. But when I was out, I saw my neighbor Lexi. She was about to go for a jog, so I'm not sure if she saw anything.
Alright, thank you, that helps. Lexi, could you tell us what you know, or where you were on the night of April 18th?
I usually go for a jog at night, so I was probably out and about that day.
At midnight, you go for a jog.
I find it better to run in the cooler hours of the day.
Okay, well you better be careful because, I mean, there's murder on the loose.
Oh, really? I hadn't heard anything.
Your neighbor, Kaylee, she was poisoned last week.
Oh, how unfortunate.
Yeah, do you know her very well, or were you guys close?
I wasn't close with her. I knew her husband.
Oh, okay.
These eyewitness accounts proved pointless to the investigation, for their inconsistency made it hard for investigators to stay on track with their findings. The only lead they had that was within Lexi's story.
Yeah, I thought that Kaylee and Lexi were pretty good friends. I mean, they knew each other. They were like neighbors, sort of. I mean, Lexi lived down the street from her. I never would have.
After finally running the fingerprints found on the coffee mug, the results were exactly what investigators were looking for. The print matched that of Lexi's, and she was sentenced to trial for sentence. While on trial, the jury found Lexi guilty of second-degree murder, and she was sentenced to 35 years to life in prison. The trial made the whole crime much more clear, and investigators now had a pretty close idea as to how Kaylee had been murdered. Instead of running at night like she had claimed, Lexi snuck over to Kaylee's house one morning. She slid open the back glass door and headed to her kitchen. There, she would lace Kaylee's sugar bag with a decent amount of crystallized cyanide. Without Kaylee being home, she had an easy entrance and an easy escape. The next morning, Kaylee would make her way down to her kitchen and pour herself a hot cup of tea mixed with a spoonful of sugar, which is now filled with cyanide. Little did she know, upon drinking her tea, she would begin to experience nausea, dizziness, vomiting, weakness, and restlessness. Kaylee thought nothing of these symptoms because most were things she felt on a regular basis when Ryan comes home and begins to argue with her. A few days later, Kaylee's body would give in to the symptoms of cyanide poisoning and she would fall to her death.
Poison's how they get you. Let me tell you. It's a horrible way to go, but at least we know that she died a slow and not so painful death.
Now that Lexi is in jail and Ryan has fled the country for personal reasons, Kaylee's sister now feels at peace and knows that her sister is looking over her.
I never would expect anyone could do something like this, especially to my sister.